Hey there guys, it's Jesse back again with another guide for Cataclysm raiding. This time we're going back into Blackwing for a heroic encounter with Chimaeron. Now, just like the battle with Halphys and BOT, Chimaeron's fight is the exact same mechanics as normal mode, with 2 exceptions and a ton more damage. If you'd like to see the original boss strategy and learn all the ins and outs, please click the annotation on your screen right now. I definitely am not going to spend a lot of time in this video going over the exact same details that I did in one I already made. Now, much like the non-heroic version of this battle, heals are the most important thing, but at the same time, spamming heals is a waste. Now you can do it just to be safe, and since I've upgraded to 25-man raiding, I gotta say, it really doesn't hurt anything if you do anyway, because you have so many healers that it's probably just for the best. But in 10-man, there is no reason that you have to heal everyone up to full in this fight, except for the tank and maybe the off-tank. But for those of you who want exact numbers, if you can keep your raid members above 10% or at least 10,000 life, no one is gonna die. Do not worry about it, even in heroic, just keep them above that 10% or 10,000 life mark and you're okay. If you need help in figuring out where that is, get grid, turn the percentages on, or use the blizzard frames and turn on percentages, just whatever is better for you. But you should know that in pretty much every add-on, there is something that changes numbers to percentages. Okay, now that I've re-gone over all of that, let's get to the 2 exceptions I mentioned in the intro. This fight, just like all the heroic Blackwing battles, features the inclusion of Nefarian, who joins to buff or in some way change the encounter. In this case, 2 major changes take place. The first is during the part of Phase 1 when Finkel's robot goes down. You and your group, like usual, go to the center to heal, while Chimaeron's heads continue to argue with each other. Nefarian, however, will intervene, commanding the heads to stop, ending the feud debuff, which then places them on the attack in a completely unprotected environment without Finkel's machine, making Chimaeron completely free to wail on you. A ton of damage is going to happen in this phase, and it's important to spam heal like crazy. I am sure I'm going to sound completely biased when I say this, but Shaman rock this fight on healing, especially in a 25-man. We had 3, we were dropping healing rains and chain heals and everything, and it was awesome. Now, if you don't believe me, you can go to the WoW Armory and look up Mojo Maker on Firetree to verify all of this. But at the time of this fight, I was still in many blues. And still, all 3 shamans were in the top 3 healing spots the entire time we did this fight. It's that friendly to healing rain and chain heal. And if shaman ain't your thing, just get yourself a bunch of AoE heals. That's all I'm saying. And of course, much like non-heroic, if you can live through that part of Phase 1, the process just repeats over and over and over. The trick to this fight that will cause many wipes until you get it down is the transition from Phase 1 to Phase 2. For those of you out there who don't know the non-heroic, Chimaeron puts a debuff on the raid that causes healing spells to become essentially useless. At this point, everyone spam attacks until he dies. However, in heroic, Nefarian adds an additional debuff to the raid called Mocking Shadows that inflicts 2,000 extra shadow damage every second to everyone in the raid. So not only can't you heal anymore, but now everyone in the raid is taking a ton of damage, not just the person who Chimaeron's going after. Now, I can show you hours of footage from the boss attempts where we had a completely smooth or near flawless Phase 1, and then upon transitioning into Phase 2, the boss gets off like a massacre or some other ability right before the transition, nearly wiping the raid, leaving us with no health as we go into Phase 2, and then we instantly die to Mocking Shadow. I'm telling you from experience, even if your raid on average has about 50% life going into Phase 2, you're probably wasting your time. Unless you have really high DPS, that Mocking Shadows is probably going to kill you. This phase shift and its timing is the most important part of this fight on heroic. You can't wait too long to push it in hopes of getting some perfect condition where everyone's at full life as you risk hitting the enrage timer. But if you go into the fight all gung-ho, you risk getting screwed by a lucky massacre or some other ability. All I can say is that this is without a doubt one of the easiest heroic battles. But until you get that timing down on the transition, this will be a source of great frustration and suffering for you, trust and believe. But, hopefully, after watching this video, you have a better understanding of what you're up against. that is the kill, guys. Thank you for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, and as always, to be continued.